Plenty of blame to go around for the Arizona Cardinals loss yesterday in Minnesota. I blame Kyler Murray most, but just for one specific reason. Just relax. It's going to be fine. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Now, I've been in sports media in Phoenix since 2011. I've been hosting this podcast since 2016. So for you, if you've been a part of my journey for a day, a month, a year, several years, thank you. I've never seen a more polarizing character in Phoenix since moving to Phoenix in 2010 than Kyler Murray, for the fans specifically. You know, media it's kind of a different thing, but with fans specifically, I've never seen a get rid of him or how dare you say anything bad about my quarterback kind of thing. And for those that have listened to this podcast, at least since 2019, when the Cardinals drafted him, I've been on the side of Kyler Murray is being held back by his coaches and GM first. And then now you're starting to see him blossom a couple years removed from when, you know, the traditional plane would start, the traditional, trajectory would start for a quarterback that has elite talent. We've seen greatness from Kyler Murray. We've seen some not so greatness from Kyler Murray over the years. And I'm in the camp and have been for, 90% of the time that the Cardinals are better with Kyler Murray than they would be with some alternative. And I still hold true to that. And Kyler Murray lost them the game yesterday. So there's a couple different reasons why, but one specifically. And let's take out the play calling, let's take out the penalties just for a second, because I'm looking at one specific play that lost the Cardinals this game. It's a play that veteran quarterback can never make. It's a play that if you wanted to have back, this is the one that he would take back. And if he takes an extra second, he's scoring a touchdown run on the ball. Cardinals are driving. First and goal from the 5. False start, Tip Ryman. Not his best day as a rookie. Penalties were an issue. Of course, they were part of the reason why the Cardinals lost. And Kyler Murray could have saved the day like he's done so many times for victories for this team. And he should have. And that's why they lost. First and goal from the 10. The inexplicable act of being called for intentional grounding. When you know that every single offensive skill position player is going left and you throw it right, it doesn't get past the line of scrimmage, and there's no NFL player in the orbit of that ball. We see Kyler Murray dipsy doodle out of the pocket better than many in the NFL. Whether it's the Tony Romo, Steve Young arc, where he arches his back and does a semicircle out with an edge rusher coming on, or being able to dance inside the pocket and just explode through a spot and either make a play with his arm or with his legs. We see it every week. But the fact that he chose in the moment, when he had a pass rusher coming on the weak side, to throw the ball 5-7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, or 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage at that point, and just throw it, hoping to get past the line of scrimmage, he just wasn't thinking. And those 15 yards that put it at second and goal from the 25 is why the Cardinals lost. Okay? You can say, and we'll talk about it in a minute, go for it on fourth and goal from the 3. Either you get it and you win, or you don't get it and they have to go, 70 yards in 3 minutes with 2 timeouts to kick a field goal. That play specifically is why the Cardinals lost. There are so many things that led up to that, positive and negative. The fantastic touchdown drive earlier in the half with the Marvin Harrison Jr. Pitch and catch from Kyler Murray, which was art. It was magic. It was a beautiful thing to witness. The James Conner angry runs in the second half, like the defense playing out of their mind for 2.5 quarters until they turn into a pumpkin. All of those things kind of cancel each other out with the penalties and the field goals instead of touchdowns early in the game. It kind of cancels each other out because when it comes down to it, I've said this and I'll continue to say it, whether you believe me or don't believe me, this is, or agree with me, not believe, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, Kyler Murray in this offense specifically, his job is to be an elite game manager and being special when the Cardinals needed it. He was not special. The one play, the one drive, the one series, the Cardinals needed it yesterday. They needed to score a touchdown there. And he inexplicably threw a ball where there was 0 NFL players on that side of the field. It didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. You lose 15 yards. You get loss of down. It's 2nd and goal from the 25. Inexplicable. And unforgivable when it comes to pointing blame. Now, do I still think Kyler Murray is the best quarterback the Cardinals have had in a long time and he has the capability to lead them deep in the playoffs? Of course. Nothing's changed about the career arc for Kyler Murray with me. And of course, I'm not the end-all be-all for anything. But to compare one game to the vitriol that people are saying for, get Kyler Murray out of here. Oh, blah, blah. It's like, no. But that's why it was on him yesterday. Other than that, played great. Nobody expects anything less. Nobody is surprised when he comes out after week 13 as the highest QBR quarterback in the NFL. Nobody's surprised about that, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I'm sure some are, but in my world, that's what he's supposed to do. Like, you expect that from him. If the Cardinals want this team to take that next step, he's got to be special when they absolutely need him to be, and he wasn't yesterday. He wasn't. Oh, Kyler Murray committed all the penalties. Oh, Kyler Murray said, kick a field goal. Stop. It's lazy. That's lazy. You're better than that. I prime you every dayers to be better than that. The one series, they needed him to position them to score a touchdown. Even 1st and goal from the 10, who cares? It's a 5-yard penalty on 1st and goal from the 10 or 11 or whatever it was, right there. To throw a ball that was deemed intentional grounding, and it wasn't even close. It was so obviously intentional grounding. That is an inexcusable act for a quarterback of his stature in a game of this magnitude. And that's why it's on him. Sure, other people to blame, other people get praise. Kyler Murray gets praise for what he did up until that point, absolutely. You need him to not do that in that instance. You need him to not do that in that instance. Now, regarding the coaching. Okay. Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzing are getting a lot of flack. I don't know exactly how much, how much say Jonathan Gannon puts into going for it or kicking. I don't know if this is more of a Drew Petzing thing and Jonathan Gannon just has, ultimate, he has ultimate carte blanche to do that under the guise of Jonathan Gannon, or if he's pushing against JG to go for it and JG wants to kick it. Like, I don't know. Obviously, Gannon in post-game press conference takes the blame for everything because he's a good head coach and he's a good leader. The conservative nature by which the Cardinals approached yesterday, I don't think was out of bounds except for the 4th and 3, the 4th and goal from the 3. I think everything else was pretty ho-hum. I mean, Chad Ryland's been great. Now, going into next week, automatic Chad Ryland isn't there anymore. So you can't be like, okay, you know what? It's 3rd and 8. They're on the 40. Let's get 3 or 4 yards on the ground and kick a field goal. That game plan needs to be gone. Touchdowns, not field goals. That's where the Cardinals failed yesterday. I mean, I don't think that the coaching was that bad. I don't think that being conservative on the road in a game where you held the lead the majority of the game with the defense playing the way it was, at a point, you just got to accept that the defense is good. It's not so much, when is this going to turn into the proverbial pumpkin? It hasn't the last handful of weeks. So at what point do you just believe it? Then Sam Darnold remembered that he had Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to, and it's like, well, that was all she wrote. I think listen, I gave Drew Petzing, what's the opposite of flowers? What's the opposite of flowers? I don't know. I was, harsh on Drew Petzing, and deservedly so, 6 weeks ago before they went on this run. I don't think that it was that bad yesterday. I really don't. They got points. They got points. They were up 19-6. I think this was just kind of a yuck. Ugh. Leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Gives fans that Stockholm syndrome that slowly but surely they were working their way out of, for it's not if something bad happens, it's when. 2 bad losses in a row. And the biggest positive, as we talk about the positives next, the Cardinals take back over control of the NFC West if they win at home next week. Let's talk about it more next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Ice Shaker. Hey, Locked On Cardinals fans, I know you're like me and your holiday shopping list is, let's just say, far from complete. Well, if that's the case, I've got the perfect gift for the passionate sports fan in your life. Perhaps you've heard of Ice Shaker. Ice Shaker is now officially licensed with the NFL, NHL, NBA, NCAA, and MLB, and will make the ideal gift. Created by and used by the Gronkowski brothers, Ice Shakers has sold over 1 million bottles. They have changed the game with workout bottles, and this is the gift you've been looking for. Go to iceshaker.com and use the code LOCKEDONNFL, and you can save 20%, 25% off your order. Order your team-branded bottles today at iceshaker.com and use code LOCKEDONNFL for 25% off your order. Ice Shakers. Show your support for your teams with the best branded workout bottles on the market. Ice Shakers. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by our friends at BetterHelp. So, how do you stay cozy during the winter months? For some, wrapping up in a blanket with a mug of hot chocolate or watching a movie with family is the best way to spend the month of December. And therapy is a great way to bring yourself some comfort that never goes away, even when the season changes. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/locked-on. So yeah, the reason why I said it was on Kyler Murray was because of that one specific downset hike decision. You can be acute with that. I don't think that's outlandish. Sure, penalties, most we've seen in quite some time. Yes. And when the Cardinals had a chance, first and goal from the 10, to go win a game and not have to run the ball on second and goal from the 25, Trey Benson got 9 yards. Third down, they gave everything except for scoring a touchdown to Trey McBride. Fourth and goal from the 3 could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. And Kyler Murray with the intentional grounding was just the opposite of what was needed there. And he's better than that. He just didn't show it right there. Now the positives, and there were a bunch. Let's start with the defense for the majority of the game. Fantastic. I will find the clip. I found the video, and I'll post it for those that asked on Twitter, of the LJ Collier sack early in the game. There was a still of Darius Robinson with his left arm on the left guard and right arm on the left tackle, and he was pushing both of them back. It was unbelievable. It was incredible. So, yeah, he played okay. His first NFL action. You saw him in the backfield a bunch. I don't know if they were considered pressures technically, but he was wreaking havoc right away. And he's only going to get better, obviously. Garrett Williams looked great. Kyzir White, Mack Wilson looked great. And then, they turned into a pumpkin when Sam Darnold remembered that they had Justin Jefferson. And I think what happened was when the Cardinals scored that touchdown, every head coach has a gotta have it drive. Some use it the first series of the game. Some use it the 2-minute drill. They used their 2-minute drill drive when the Cardinals went up 19-6, went down and scored. It's like these are the most highly percentage plays to work, and they put them in a row, and it was a quick score, and that was it. But Trey McBride is always open. Trey McBride is always open, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to watch. 12 for 96, still hasn't gotten in the end zone. Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 for 60. They both had 12 targets. That's what you want. Kyler Murray, efficient, 260 yards. This was just a tough game down the stretch. It's pretty much all this was. The 2 interceptions, obviously, we're not going to overlook those. One was a punt, and the second one was the last play of the game where he and Marv weren't on the same page. It was triple coverage. Like, they were just trying to get the ball down. Like, that last – it's so frustrating because the Cardinals, just like – it reminded me of the Lions game. They had the Lions 3rd and 11 inside their own 20. In the 4th down, the Cardinals had no timeouts. They had just burned the last one. It was 20-13. And it was a simple Amon-Ra, 10-yard in, and it was wide open catch. Game over. Same kind of thing. 4th and 7, the Cardinals had him. They had him dead to rights. Had him. And they complete on 4th and 7, extended the drive, game over. Well, it ended up being game over. I think, and this is, I don't know why, I think a lot of times the coaches get blamed immediately is because they haven't done anything yet, which makes sense. I mean, 4-13 last year, 6 wins this year. Very conservative. And I think you're seeing that. Defensive-minded head coaches have shown to be very conservative. Antonio Pierce, Gerard Mayo, 2 of the most conservative guys in the NFL. I'm not comparing JJ to them. I think he's a better head coach than both of them. But I don't think that erring on the side of being conservative is a death sentence. I don't think erring on the side of calling a conservative game plan and kicking field goals is always the wrong play. And, and hindsight's 2020 naturally. And all the metrics said, I think it was chance to win 80% if they go for it on 4th and go from the 3, and 80% if they kick the field goal, and 88% if they go for it on 4th and 3, regardless of outcome, because the Vikings have to march all the way down. I mean, revisionist history is great. If they put up 6 and the Cardinals stop them on 4th down, whatever, it's a win. So you can pick and choose what you'd like. Sure. You want to see them take more chances down the field. You want to see just a little bit more let Kyler Murray go kind of thing. Yeah. I think in that environment, they had, put it this way, through 2.5 quarters, they had the game in control, exactly how they were doing things. And they just faltered down the stretch, which is, well, obviously you want to have games, you want to be in control at the end of the game, not in the, yeah, that's fine. But they also stopped one of the better offenses in the NFL for the majority of the game. So, you got to take, that happened. So you've got to give credit where credit is due. At least, I mean, it's not like Minnesota put up a 40-burger in the first half. It's a bad loss. There's blame, but there was a lot of positives, man. James Conner ran well. Trey Benson ran well when he was given time. Michael Wilson, another circus catch. I think we need to talk about him getting some more touches in this offense. I'll probably do a segment about him tomorrow. But all in all, feels gross. But the biggest positive of all of it, the overarching positive, if they beat Seattle on Sunday, they're right back in the driver's seat in the NFC West with Carolina, New England, the Rams, and the 49ers left. They just got to get through Sunday. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. What does the outlook look like? Starting with Sunday, and the rest of the season. Give a broad overview here. Next, Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by the Game Time app. I love the Game Time app so much. I love watching football live, man. It's just so fun. I mean, I even went to I went to Levi Stadium for some scouting. The 49ers and Seahawks a couple weeks ago. It just live football is so much fun. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks on Game Time that makes getting tickets to see those live events even easier. They filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. On top of Game Time Picks, they have all-in pricing. This is a toggle feature that shows the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. Seat views, this is my favorite thing. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. All you have to do is click on the tickets, the row, the section, and you can, move your phone around, and it shows you, the vantage point you'll see from the seats. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Tell the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get 150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Excuse the voice today, and excuse me not doing a show on Friday. I'm just getting over something. I wish my voice was this raspy always. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. If you want to leave a review where reviews are left, cool. If not, I'm happy that you're here. Really great conversation on the socials over the weekend. I always love the interaction, love the conversations, love the DMs. Thank you. I want to make this a family more and more every day. So please feel free, reach out on comments, DMs, whatever it is. This is your show. I'm just the one who's talking. So what's the outlook for the remainder of the season? This is something that has gotten a little bit muddier. It's something that has still some optimism, and we're here now. For those that haven't appreciated football up to this point, shame on you. I have done you a disservice by not every week coming out and saying, hey, remember, appreciate football because it's going to be gone soon. We're in week 14. We will be tomorrow. Like, it's gone. It's here, but it's gone. And my biggest litmus test for a successful season for the Cardinals before it started, anybody know it? What you want is the Arizona Cardinals to be in the hunt overlay on TV going into week 14 or week 15. And they are. How we got here, witnessing this team, not exactly as expected. If I would have told you that they were 6-6 through 13 weeks, you'd be like, hell yeah, sign it up. Things are going well. And now as you watch it, it's like a little bit of a disappointment. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think the disappointment is on the side of the offense. And we'll see how this season plays out, because the conversations that are tied to roster building and this offense will obviously hinge upon how these last 5 weeks go, 4 weeks go, 5 weeks go. The Cardinals, I think, still control their own destiny. And they do. I mean, that's a fact. But they're in a very, very positive position for the rest of the year. This isn't me just glazing over the last 2 weeks. The Cardinals now have no safety net like they did, but they're still in a power position. If they beat Seattle on Sunday, it's going to do a couple things, and we'll talk much more in depth. We'll do Corbin Smith crossover again, locked on crossover Thursday. If they win on Sunday, these last 2 weeks have been erased. because the 49ers, you got to feel bad. Christian McCaffrey out for the year, you'd think, with a PCL injury. Brandon Ayuk already out. Like that team is in shambles. I think it's safe to say that the reign of the 49ers is now over. That team's going to look completely different next year. The Rams, so say the Cardinals win on Sunday. Let's just talk positive because, tough loss. Let's kind of balance this out. Say the Cardinals come in and take care of business on Sunday at State Farm Stadium against Seattle. They then retake the NFC West lead because it's going to be split. So for those that don't know, sorry, I should have said this. For those that don't know, as of now, the Cardinals have a 2-1 division record. The Seahawks are 1-2. So if the Cardinals win on Sunday, they will be head-to-head 1-1. But then that will move the Cardinals to 3-1 in the division and move Seattle to 1-3. So the best they can do interdivisionally is 500. The worst the Cardinals can do interdivisionally is 500. So it puts them in a power position there. Then they've got, New England. They've got Carolina. They've got the Rams. They've got the 49ers left. And Carolina's been playing better. New England's New England. They've shown sparks, even though they had a pretty tough loss against Indy this past week. The Cardinals are better than all of those teams, categorically. And this is the time where we're going to find out who Kyler Murray is. Like, truly. I know 2021, 7-0, 10-2. I know last year was kind of a write-off. He played well at the end of the year, but they weren't playing for anything, so quote-unquote, it was probably easier to play with no stress. We're going to find out from now until the end of the season who Kyler Murray is. Because this is the first time in his NFL career. The stakes are high in the sense that nobody expected them to be here. And now that they're here, there are certain expectations for him to carry this team in the weak spots that they have. That's it. And that's what elite quarterbacks do. And we'll see. I think he is fully capable, like I have since he was drafted. And he brought them back week 1 against the Detroit Lions when Cliff Kingsbury is quoted as saying he thought he was going to get fired at halftime. He put them on his back. And as I mentioned, the little ditty, they were a Tremaine Brock ball off the chest plate. If he were to intercept that, the Cardinals win that game, and it's not a tie. That's how it started. He's got it in him. And now they just have to put it together for 60 minutes and score touchdowns and not field goals on Sunday against Seattle. And that's the outlook for the remainder of the season. It's up to K1. Let's see what he's got. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. A lot more to talk about for the rest of the week as we gear up for the Week 14 matchup that will more than likely determine who wins the NFC West. I know it's a little early, but it will give the winner a big, big advantage for the rest of the season. So much more to talk about between now and then. Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.